Before the Spaniards come into the Philippines, there were existing culture of the Philippines which were not distinguished by most of the Filipinos, especially for the newborn Filipino citizens. The Filipinos lived in settlements called barangays, and it was headed by the dato. They live in a concept where everyone are compressed in order to protect each other in case of war or emergency. The barangay was the typical community in the whole archipelago. It was the basic political and economic unit independent of similar others. Each was headed by a chieftain called the Raha or Dato. They lived near the house of their Dato, the leader of their community, for the fast dissemination of information. In old days, a Dato had a council of elders to advise him, especially whenever he wanted some laws to be enacted. The law was written and announced to the whole barangay by a town crier called Umalohokan. Schools for boys and girls were separated. In 1863, an educational decree mandated the school for boys and girls. It mandated the establishment of 3 primary schools in each town, 1 for boys and 1 for girls with a precise number of schools, depending on the size of the population. Missionaries serve as teachers. During the early years of the Spanish colonization, education was mostly religion-oriented and controlled by the Roman Catholic Church. Spanish friars and missionaries educated the natives through religion with the aim of converting indigenous populations to the Catholic faith. Each cities during Spanish times had an ayuntamiento or cabildo. The cities were governed by 2 mayors, 12 councilors, a police chief, a secretary, and other employees. The city is called as ayuntamiento. It is a system from which the king has the right to transfer the authority of a particular land to any Spanish individual or constitution. The ayuntamiento had a city council called the cabildo, which is composed of alcalde mayor, regidores, alguacil mayor, and escribando. Public schools were opened up. Americans emphasized the importance of education to the Filipinos, thus it started the free education in public schools in accordance with 1935 Constitution. First teachers were called Thomasites. Protestantism was introduced. They introduced Protestantism religion. More or less, the 3,000 Filipinos became Protestants. Americans implemented the policy in separation of church and state. Freedom of religion was practiced. The 1987 Constitution of the Philippines declares, "The separation of church and state shall be inviolable," in accordance to Article 2, Section 6. The road towards Philippine independence, the Jones Law. This law was approved by President Woodrow Wilson after it was proposed by William Atkinson Jones, an American congressman. The law stated the right of the Filipinos to attain freedom in the near future. The democracy is the greatest legacy that the Americans gave us. It has 3 branches, which are the executive branch composed of the President, the legislative branch composed of Senate and Congress, and the judiciary branch composed of DOJ, or the Department of Justice. Philippine Bill 1902, also known as Copper Act, it provided a Bill of Rights for the Filipinos that protected their rights, which is to live, to acquire for property, to practice their religion, to be subjected to due process, to enjoy compensations due to them, and freedom of expression. But the most important element contained in the bill was its clauses that called for the creation of a lower legislative branch with elected Filipino representatives as legislators.